Fuck you, Max.
What is good with y'all boys? It's your boy MaxFlames. We are back today with another video. So in today's video, I'm not going to be doing a tight beat. This video is more so going to be a tutorial on how to improve your hi-hat. So I know when I was starting out producing, I didn't really know how to spice up my hi-hats or make them sound swaggy. I would just toss rolls everywhere throughout the hi-hats, whatever stuck, but now that I feel like I'm a little bit better at producing, I would say at least, hopefully you guys think so too, that I know how to make them really sound bouncy and like I said, swaggy. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a couple tips on how to improve your hi-hats and just overall create a bounce with them. So before we get into it, if you guys haven't already, follow my Instagram and Twitter at MaxFlames_. And also, if you guys do enjoy these kind of videos, please do not hesitate to like and subscribe down below. It helps out the channel a lot. So without further ado, gents, let's get into tip number 1. Alright boys, so for this video, I'm just going to pull up a loop. Let's go with something. Let's just go with this. So this is like a piano loop I made the other day. Alright, so tip number 1 with hi-hats is rolls. So like I said, when I first started producing, I would just throw rolls anywhere and everywhere throughout the hi-hat pattern, which is not something you want to do. So I'm going to pull up a hi-hat from my upcoming drum kit called Tenacious. Be on the lookout for that. But I'm going to get a regular hi-hat groove going, just a 2-step hi-hat. So this is pretty dry, right? So one thing I would do to spice up these hi-hats is add rolls in. So I'll get a little bit more into the placement of the rolls a little bit later, but for those of you who aren't really sure, the way I do my rolls is I'll place a note like this, and then I'll highlight it, and then I'll click Alt-U. So pretty much this is like a piano roll chopper. So with this time knob right here, you can control how much you want the note to chop. So obviously if you bring it more down like this, it'll create more chops, but usually I just go with something like this. And then you can even go a step further, shortening the note like this, and then making it like a quick roll like this. And then something like this, what I would do is I would change the magnet to a 3rd beat, and then I'll do something like this. So and then another way you can kind of create different rolls is by going into here, opening up the magnet again, going to 3rd step, and then you could just shorten this and then do Control B to copy it over a couple more times. So and then I would go back in the cell, and then I'd probably do something like this. And then you could do something like that. So really quick, I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna add drums around it, and then I'll play you guys how this sounds. So alright boys, so with just rolls, strictly just rolls, I'm gonna play this snippet for you guys so you see how it sounds. So Alright, so that was pretty good, but I feel like the hi-hats can still get a little better. So moving on to tip number 2 is, it's kind of like 3 things packed into one step, but it's velocities, shifts, and pans. So that may seem like a lot. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is velocities. So when you think about velocities, the first thing you'll probably think about is doing something like this, where you do this, and then you just lower one of the velocities, and then you just copy this all the way over like this. And while that's cool and all, that'll do for most beats. If you want to take this a step further, you can play with the velocities of the rolls. So just for instance, for this roll, what I'm going to do is make it so that the velocities like go down, like it kind of like a decrescendo, I guess is a music term. But the way you would do that is by highlighting this, right, and then you'd go down here to the velocities. You'll right click, like hold right click on the first note, and then you just drag them all down like this. So that was all right. You could do it a little bit more, something like that. So I feel like this gives it like a real like swaggy feel. It feels like a perk is kind of like there, but it's not. I don't know how to explain it, but I've seen this done in like a lot of beats recently, where like the rolls are just like pitched, like the velocity is like going down on the rolls. So for this one, I'm going to do the opposite of what I was telling you guys. I'm going to pitch it up. So I'm going to start down here with the first note and then go all the way up like this. Let me actually change the hi-hat because you can't really tell that well. Yeah, see, with this hi-hat, it almost sounds like an open hat. So depending on what hi-hat you use, you could get a different feel with the velocities. So the next part I wanted to talk about was panning. So you have all these rolls, right, and you have them, you have the velocities like going down and up and stuff like that. So a step you could take to kind of make these sound even better, for a listener that's like, listening in their headphones, you can pan them. So what I would do is I would go down here, and typically it should be on note velocity right here, the control, but then you can go up to here to note pan. So what you could do is, see, I could highlight this, and then I could press Alt and then scroll up on my mouse. So this would pretty much make the pan go to the left ear, right? Whereas if you went all the way down, it would make it go to the right ear. So I'm gonna pan some of these notes here. Typically what I like to do is, if I pan this left, the next row I would want to pan right. So it kind of gives it so that you're not hearing everything in one ear. So another thing about this is that the higher up you make the pan, the more towards that ear it will be. So if this was all the way up, you will literally only hear this in the left ear. So yeah, so just be aware of that. Okay, I actually lied. This, if it's panned up, it makes it go to the right ear, and if it's panned down, it makes it go to the left ear. So apologies for that. So yeah, so the last thing for this step that I wanted to talk about is shifts. So playing this right now, if I were to just play this hi-hat pattern, it sounds very like computerized and on point, right? So if you want to give it a more humanistic feel, one of the ways you could do that is by shifting the hi-hats off the grid. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could literally just highlight this whole pattern and then hold Alt and then click on this, and then you could literally like pull it off the grid a little bit. You just have to be careful so that it doesn't bleed over like this. Or if you wanted to do it a different way, you could go into here and then go over to this wrench right here and then go to this part right here where it says time, and then you could just play with the shift knob. So this will literally shift over the note instead of, you know, actually doing it in the piano roll. So now with all of these in mind, I'll play you guys the beat now. Now that we have these hi-hats, right, they're a little bit more swagged out and, you know, less boring. So what I'm going to do is pull in a hi-hat or an open hat here. So essentially what you want to do is strategically place the open hat and the rolls like with each other so that it gives it a bounce pretty much. So I'm gonna pull up an open hat here. I like this one in this Nick Mirror pack. So if I were to just solo the hi-hat and the open hat, right, let's go into the open hat. So I see the hi-hats, right? I see a roll right here. So typically what I would do is that if I have a roll that hits like right here, I would place the hi-hat or the open hat right after it. So, and you also don't want to do this with every roll, you know. You don't want to place like an open hat like right after every roll. You want to like sprinkle them in so that it's like it's not too annoying to the listener. But say if I want to put my open hats here, so you can hear it like after the roll, it's like tss, tss. So it kind of gives it a bounce when you play it all together. Let me turn on all the drums. Also with this open hat, I'm going to go into here, turn down the attack, turn up the hold, turn down the sustain, and then turn down the release. And then I'm going to go into these notes, press Shift D, and then drag them out so it's two of these note spaces. So I'm actually going to drag it out a little bit more. And then what you could also do is have another open hat, right? So let's just say this open hat is like your bounce open hat, so to say. So I could go in here and find another open hat, like this maybe. And then this would be the open hat that hits like before the clap. So this is like a technique that I usually do in like a post verse section or like a post hook section, like the second part of a hook. I'll add in an open hat before the clap. So the key with this is that you really want the rolls strategically placed with the open hats. So I have an open hat that hits right on this note right here. So you know, you could do something like this, posting the open hat or the hi-hat roll like right here. Actually, I think I'm gonna do it like this. Make it like a quick roll. And see, this one hits at the same time as the open hat, so you don't really want something like that. So I'm gonna put this one like right before the open hat hits. So that sounds a lot better actually. So I'm gonna actually move this before the open hat hits. Yeah, see, that sounds way better. I actually like this roll. So now if I were to play the melody along with it, this is what it sounds like. The final product. So yeah, so if I were to finish the beat, you know, I would probably add a little bit more drums around it so that and I would also probably turn down the hi-hats a little bit so that's not like, you know, too overbearing. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these videos. I feel like I don't really do too much where it's like actual teaching you guys you know, like different techniques and stuff like that. So if that's something you guys want to see more, please let me know in the comments below. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you're watching and whenever you're watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.